Aquarius. You have incarnated to teach the lesson of detachment. You intuitively understand that your greatest awareness comes through motion and movement and interaction with many people from all walks of life. With your rolling stone cavalier attitude, you teach those around you to break their inflexible patterns and appreciate the beauties of life. This lesson can be taught through different modes of personal behavior. You may stifle those close to you to the point that you become unbearable. This teaches them the lesson of detaching from those influences that bring them pain or retard their growth. You may also teach others to be objective by constantly detaching and moving forward yourself. Thus, your personal example helps people gain awareness of the ebb and flow of the universe through either your own freedom or your lack of it. The lesson to be learned is that of moving forward and not becoming fixated in unproductive experiences. Even though letting go can be painful to those who are unaware of your process, you may appear to be very ungrounded as you move from one experience to the next. Actually, your process has the potential to revitalize every life you touch. You share what you have learned from your last experience in the present one, and you accumulate new information in the present to bring it into the next situation. Sometimes being with a person who has an Aquarian solar eclipse can feel like an explosion or a shattering of old perceptions of reality that have stopped the other person from experiencing the fullness of life. At other times, you may teach the lesson through explosive behavior patterns that leave those around you feeling devastated until the smoke clears and they realize they have been set free. You tend to draw very possessive, jealous people who need to learn detachment from their overinflated egos. Your nature can help them to incorporate a more universal approach to sharing love in relationships through loyalty to a universal sense of brotherhood and sisterhood that precludes any unhealthy attachment to individual form. You understand how to love freely and fully without possessiveness. You have an open channel to universal awareness and are able to see the highest good for the most people. You are able to introduce new ideas and concepts, thereby helping to usher in this Aquarian age. By teaching detachment, you help people to understand that we may not hold on to anything on the physical plane. Whatever we have accumulated must be passed on. All we can actually take with us is experience. And all we really have is time. You intuitively understand that we must make the best use of our time by not holding on to the past and choosing the most positive experiences in the present. Aquarius is the sign that represents the inventor, and you are innovative in your thinking, recognizing that we do not need to be held down by old thought patterns. Through your need for new experiences, you teach others to break old, limited ways of thinking and open the doors to tomorrow. Narrow minded people, unwilling to believe that there can be a better way to do anything, are attracted to you. When you come into their lives, you help them open themselves to new ideas. You are so persistent and persevering in your enthusiastic approach to new that you wear down those around you until they accept the prospect of change or leave. You have a very strong sense of fair play, which is why you get so upset at the unfairness that you see in the world. You have the ability to teach your fellow beings to be fair with one another by showing fairness in your dealings and by trusting those around you to be fair with you. However, you are not shy about speaking up when you feel that the other person has not been fair with you. People always start with a clean slate as far as you are concerned, and it is up to them what they want to write on it. But once they have been unfair to you, you hold them accountable. Through their behavior, they have established their character in your eyes. In your mind, all of us begin as equals, with no one having more rights than another. As we live our lives, it is our behavior that allows us to keep or causes us to lose our rights. What you are teaching your fellow beings through this philosophy is that we can only hold ourselves accountable for our life situations. If we build a good character by being honest, trustworthy, and honorable, we will create a good situation for ourselves in this lifetime. If we want to change our life situation, our character is something that we are capable of refining through changing our behavior. If your lunar eclipse is in this sign, your lesson in this lifetime is detachment. Your challenge is to release your tendencies toward possessiveness and jealousy. The pace at which you learn your lesson is quite accelerated. It's essential that you allow things and people to flow through your life because you need to experience a great deal in this one incarnation. Nothing is allowed to crystallize in this life experience. Also, it's not permissible for you to consider only yourself when making decisions. The good of the whole is to be your main consideration, and the universe will take care of your personal needs when you are fulfilling this role. If you can learn this detachment during this lifetime, it's not necessary for you to return to the earth plane. Part of your lesson is learning to teach detachment from the old, from set patterns of thinking. You are coming from a past consciousness of royal heritage, not necessarily of being a king or a queen, but set family patterns of you must do this because it is what your ancestors have always done. You're learning to detach from belief systems that have held you down in the past, whether they were imposed by religion, family, or society. You realize you do not need to conform to these beliefs of others. And as long as you keep the good of the whole in mind and do not hurt others, you have the right to explore and enjoy your natural desire to experiment with life. While learning your lessons, you also have to satisfy a strong sense of curiosity. You have a need to understand the why behind everything. You feel that if you understand the reason for things, you can improve them. And you have an innate desire to improve the quality of life for all. You are a true humanitarian of the world. In learning to become the humanitarian, you become adept at adjusting your consciousness to that of the masses. You are learning to detach from the ego enough to be able to think of what is good for all, and at the same time retain a strong enough sense of ego to prod yourself to achieve what you have set out to accomplish. You are here to achieve the transition from thinking of yourself and your family alone to thinking of humanity. You are learning to take responsibility for directing your fellow beings into more positive areas of exploration on a planetary level, as well as considering the expansion of your own family unit. This is an important lesson that must be learned with great respect and love for humankind. You are also learning to develop a more universal consciousness regarding love. You must break past patterns of how you believe love should be. Previously, you were very jealous and possessive where love was concerned. You felt that things had to remain the way they always had been, which left no room for growth. Now you are learning that you do not need to hold on so tightly in affairs of the heart. To become a true futuristic thinker and be able to help expand the consciousness of others, you must always give freedom to those around you. If you want the freedom to expand and explore the world around you, you have to be open to others doing the same. By trying to hold on too tightly to anyone you care for, you will meet with such resistance that it can lead to a separation. Giving love without attachment to whether or not it makes the other person love you more is a difficult lesson. You are seeking to separate yourself from an unconscious, self-defeating need for approval. Yours is the lesson of doing what is best for the most concerned and not for the individual gratification of personal love. You are in the process of accepting your humanitarian role on the planet, and as you practice giving love freely because you feel love for the other person, you learn to act without self-interest. You need to learn to share love for the sheer joy of the experience and not with the expectation of attachment or adoration. In previous lifetimes, you were adored and put on a pedestal, and you've become attached to that kind of attention. Without this adoration, you tend to confuse attachment with loyalty. You sometimes take the wrong path because you feel the need of loyalty from others so strongly and think that if you are not loyal to their path, they won't be loyal to you. Because of this misconception, you tend to take old paths that you have already finished. It will help you to remember that above all, everyone needs to follow his or her own path. To thine own self be true. Self-loyalty is a very important lesson for you in this lifetime. You can keep yourself stuck in a rut for a long time because of this fixation on being loyal. You demand loyalty from others and from yourself, but you forget to be loyal to yourself. Receiving love. In this lifetime, the need to love for the sake of love is very strong. You must learn to detach from the habit of dictating the behavior of those who fall in love with you. In previous lifetimes, you were loved either because of your position in society or for what you could give in return. This time, in learning to be loved just for your own self, you are learning to let go of your attachment to certain behavior patterns that came with these previous expressions of love. This also frees you to love without pressure and to open yourself to being loved for yourself and not for a role that you play. A king is loved because of his position and prestige. A leader because of his or her role of strength. In this lifetime, you can finally experience the joy of being loved just for being you. Part of your lesson is to let go of needing those who are close to you to behave in a certain way, and learning to love without attachment to the behavior patterns of those you love. You are beginning to understand what it means to live and let live. In doing this, you're fulfilling your own destiny and becoming a very loving, beautiful, free spirit. Your process is truly embodied in the caterpillar becoming the butterfly. You're learning that love is like a butterfly, and if you hold on too tightly, you kill it. On the other hand, if you allow those you love the freedom that you demand for yourself, you find that both energies are satisfied. This is the way to attract a lifelong, loyal mate. Both of you able to expand, explore, and grow separately while sharing love together.